lot of people want to send blankets or water. Just send your cash. One of the things that President I will do is to make sure your money is spent wisely. Haitian people have got a tough journey. Yet, it's amazing how terrible tragedies can bring out the best of the human spirit. We've all seen that firsthand when American citizens responded to the tsunami or to Katrina or the earthquake in Pakistan. And President Clinton and I are going to work to tap that same spirit of giving to help our brothers and sisters in the Caribbean.
That was probably the most surreal moment I've seen on TV when you have the current president. You had
it's like
Bill Clinton. And
it's
then,
like the rogues gallery of like Spider-Man villains.
Yeah, or Batman villains.
Sinister Six. Shit.
That was an interesting time. Also, it was a booming period for rebuilding and insurance companies and stuff. People don't really think about that kind of shit because it, people are like, no, man, it's the goodness of America's heart. Not really, because if you was to pick any of us out of our trailer right now and be like, do you guys want to deal with like thousands of pounds of debris for minimum wage? We'd be like, no.
No, I'm good. Good on that.
I mean, it sucks that happened, but
yeah, just send your cash.
Just send your cash, man.
No your well wishes or no
flashlights, blankets, food,
nothing like that.
Just give us the money we need.
Especially knowing what happened after.
Yeah.
What Haiti is now after the whole relief effort.
Boy. So anyway, this is the, I guess you can say, the new branded podcast with Case and myself, Alan. I guess it's been a while since we actually did or uploaded a podcast. I think the last thing we did was an interview with somebody for one of the independent wrestlers, and I'm not really exactly sure who it was. I want to say it was Tyler.
No, I thought it might have been Nick Depp. I think
Nick Depp. I was thinking maybe Lucas Tyler or Nick Depp. But anyway, a lot has obviously happened since then. We've dropped the stiff entertainment thing for now. I'm thinking that in the event that the original crew wants to get back together and do like a short film or sketch or a podcast, it will be under the Stiff moniker. But for now, it's 1220 Productions, which is kind of an old production name me and Casey made up while we was producing a video CD of some of our random sketch material.
Yeah, because it's the date that we first filmed something all like a feature length amount of stuff, and it was December 20th, 2000.
Yeah, there was snow and ice on the ground that day, and we got a camera, so y'all heard a lot of this on the Brett McDowell Oddcast. So now, I personally got really burnt out on at the time of the whole process. I was drinking a lot, so usually I'm pretty piss-ass drunk on most of those, and I can't stand it. Listen to myself.
The most noticeable ones I noticed you were pretty blasted is the Kevin Willoughby one.
Well, I got up and threw up that day.
Yeah, it was two 40s is still reserve.
Yeah.
I was like, hey man, I told you one will do it.
I was like, fuck no.
You got to sip on the second one because it will take you places.
Yeah, I was just impatient and trying to get rid of whatever thought in my head and being irresponsible, which people do from time to time. So anyway, we rebranded the I guess you can say Stiff, but this is going to be more. We know more now. We know what we're doing.
There you go. Yeah.
We know where to fill in the blanks, and we started working with Kevin Kamen or Kamer.
Kamener.
Kevin I can say I did it again, but and he's been a lot of fun to work with. He doesn't have a lot of experience with improv, but he handled all that stuff well, and we plan to keep having him around. But we also like to have as many other collaborators as possible. But I
think it just comes down to time.
Scheduling.
Yeah, but I think the first 10 minutes, I think we're going to be discussing politics and I guess world events.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
that seems to make sense. So I guess this first half is going to be politics.
Okay.
And
you want to lead us off, or?
Yeah, I guess I'll start it off. What's the big news story? Oh, Jared Kushner, is that his name?
Yeah.
Everyone's freaking out that he's talking on television, like he said something.
Well, at least ABC is, or CNN is.
Have you seen this guy? You see what he looks like?
He's just some wormy white guy.
Yeah, he seems like he could do some scary shit, or he's already done some scary stuff.
Yeah.
He's like business incarnate. Kind of looks like fucking like Satan, or Satan's uncle or something.
Right, and I think the initial alarm went off with Trump supporters even was because he was married. Basically, he's a son-in-law. He's married to one of Trump's daughters. I can't remember. I always get Ivanka and the other one's name confused. But the people did some research on him and realized that he's more of like this ruthless upstart company businessman. And he, strangely enough, he lives in 666 something Avenue in New York, and it's across from the Trump Towers. So a lot of people are for certain that he's instrumental into getting Trump's victory.
I can see that.
Which is interesting now because the narrative went from Russia intervention. Now they're going to be like, well, that's Jared Kushner's intervention.
Yeah, didn't Comey? I mean, obviously, I watched that whole thing pretty much. His whole testimonial to Congress. You know, most of the answers did lead to I cannot say this unless I'm in a
it's
private classified setting.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he pretty much just said that Russia didn't really do anything for their election this year, and it still bothers me that the media or whatever still holds on to it though, even though the FBI director said no Russia.
Well, there was no real. There was nothing. They didn't. I think that frustrated them even more when they couldn't give anyone concrete evidence outside of just straight making it up. And the thing is, from a common sense point of view, Russia is a huge continent on our planet. It's big. Putin is kind of controversial or a polarizing figure because of his alpha maleism, I guess you could say.
And his stance, man. He wants Russia to be part of Russia.
Yeah.
That's why Russia's not a part of the UN. I'm not saying I'm not a Ruski or whatever, but
right.
They're their own country. They don't need to be a part of anybody else's, and they don't need some other country telling them what to do in their country.
Yeah.
Which we seem to do a lot all the time.
And here's another hole in the media's theory of Russia getting involved in our elections. There is far more evidence to support that China's government has actually hacked into our systems, mainly because they want to see where the money's going. They want to see what patents are coming up and so on and so forth, because the unfortunate truth is we owe them a lot of money, and we can't get on the news channels and blast China because it's really bad for our businesses to do that. So I was like, well, if they wanted people to believe it, they should have just been like, China wanted Trump. But see, that didn't fit the narrative because Trump was anti-China intervention in his campaign.
Yeah, trying to keep jobs in America or whatever, instead of outsourcing.
Right.
And because think about Sony. Sony clearly got hacked by China. That's just why this straight.
It's really weird.
Goes straight to Russia. It's like, even though we've already had so many other countries hack us on our own soil.
I know, and it's weird because it's like political duck goose, or whatever. And it just so happened when they spun the wheel, it's like, well, Russia has a history of, at least from America perspective, as being this militant bully, because of the Cold War and the socialist states that were there, and it fell flat with me immediately. And I felt like, regardless on how anyone truly feels about Trump or any of these political figures, you have to understand that that was, to me, sounded like a very desperate coping mechanism from the Democratic establishment because of Hillary didn't get in.
Yeah, it really did seem like that. Like,
Yeah.
it did come off as sore loser.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Yeah, back to you said China. We're in debt to them pretty deeply, right?
Right.
So, what is okay? I don't know the number. What they did call China currency? It's not yen, but what is it called?
I don't know.
Okay,
Shit.
but here's the American number of debt that we are with China. It's 10,160,000,000. It's a huge number.
Is that trillion?
Yeah, $10 trillion.
Yeah.
That's what we got there.
Now, what is this source here? Because people are going to be like, well, anyone could have done that.
This is nationaldebtclocks.org.
Okay.
That's the thing.
That's your phone.
Yeah, that is also. That's time for us to take a small break. 10-minute intervals. We'll be right back. I guess we're back. Still talking about China here. Not the professional wrestler that mysteriously died and no one talked about it really when it happened.
And Prince also died that day too.
It's very strange.
And was it the next day that Patton Oswalt's wife died? Or no, she died the same day too.
Oh man, 2016 was a strange time for
everything.
I mean, I don't know. There's been parts of history where more celebrities have died in 1 year.
Sure.
But these are heavy hitters, though. These were like fucking champions.
Yeah,
you know?
and it's still kind of going now, well into 2017. Probably not as. Some obvious ones are gonna happen. I think Willie Nelson, unfortunately, is reached, that point, and I think he's lived a good life. And
oh yeah. My second choice would be Jack Nicholson.
Or possibly Stan Lee.
Oh yeah,
But we can go on for decades about.
Yeah, but back to
China.
The country of China and the debt that we have to them, and yeah, we can't just go out in the media and say, "You motherfucking hackers, you put that Trump in, you cocksuckers."
Yeah.
Can't do that, but what's the old school heel, man? What's the?
It takes us all the way back to the 80s,
Yeah.
with Russia, the Cold War stuff, and Rocky 3 or 4.
Yeah, Nikolai Volkov and fucking Ivan Drago.
Yeah.
Shit. I don't know. It's just sickening to me, and I don't think people even care about. How could you trust CNN or Fox News or anybody?
Any of these people,
especially like I was going into the election knowing that Hillary Clinton won this. Just
Me
because
too.
I was like, she's got it.
There's no way. They gave us the first black president. Might as well go ahead and keep this ball rolling and give us the first female president. And it's weird because after watching all of her shtick, it is like, man, she's not really putting as much as I thought into it.
I don't think she really wanted to be president.
I don't think either. I
don't think either one of them really
did.
necessarily, but. Because I think is John C. Dvorak that said it on a really good podcast called No Agenda.
Yeah.
He said that it seems like neither one of these candidates wants to be president just because he might be the president and has to be there when the economy drops out. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like the Great Depression president.
This is tied into our China debt as well, obviously.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that goes along, with also our student loan debt.
Yeah.
That the fairy tale's over with.
It's way, like, the American dream thing is over with in general. Now, it's easy for us to say it because, but there's some people out there that have managed to succeed, but a lot of that is circumstance and luck. And as much as we don't like to talk about it or admit it, it does have a lot to do with who you know.
Oh, yeah.
And
I know Crackle.
And it's unfortunate, man, because there's a lot of good people that would rather turn to drugs and alcohol than to pursue any career choice or dream because they know they're just kind of up shit creek at this point.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I'm just going to go move along with another piece of headline stuff. Talking about politics, you kind of polarize your friends sometimes, But I'm never going to start a fist fight over some strangers.
Dude.
These are complete strangers.
These are people we don't know.
I've never met them.
No.
But Bernie Sanders and his wife are in some hot shit right now.
Yeah.
Over some fucking loan applications that were shady as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
So this year recently, Bernie Sanders and his wife hired defense attorneys amid a FBI probe into a loan the senator's wife procured from the Burlington College while she was school president, according to news reports.
Uh-oh.
So, because he was the guy who always ran on like free college, man.
Student debt relief.
Yeah, all that shit.
Yeah.
So Sanders, a Vermont independent, and wife Jane hired a legal team in connection to a 2010 loan application. Let's see here. Jane Sanders reportedly filed so the school could borrow $10 million to purchase 33 acres of land.
Oh, for what? To expand the campus, or
I guess so.
or to put a home there?
So it's
maybe a McDonald's,
Yeah, and they're lowering up pretty hard, So usually,
they're scared.
Yeah, if there wasn't there, I don't think they would even bother with, getting like a full-on O.J. Simpson kind of style defense
Team. Yeah.
See, the whole Bernie Sanders thing's always set weird with me because I'm not saying to me he was a better candidate than Hillary.
But so was Gary Johnson.
Yeah.
So was like some other these
A lot of
radical
people-
third party people
Right.
could have easily been just as good.
And it seemed like all the arrows point towards the DNC was rigged against him.
Seth Rich. Yeah.
Yeah, that's something.
And the reason what fueled the flames with that is there's a lot of people old enough to remember Vince Foster, the guy that was murdered during the Bill Clinton era. And what exactly? Go ahead. I would say look that up. What was it that he had?
Who, Sanders? I mean, who are you talking about?
Vince Foster.
Vince Foster. Yeah, what was? Okay, Bill Clinton, I guess.
Yeah, it was during the Bill Clinton administration era. Vince Foster. This is what fueled the flames as to Hillary being, or the Clintons being part of like this mob of militant people.
Okay. Well, what's kind of strange, Google's bringing up the Seth Rich stuff.
Well, Google, come on. You dog. I thought you guys were...
Uh-oh. Ooh, the Clinton Chronicles.
Yeah.
Oh, that's something.
Yeah, we actually own a copy of that on a DVD-R. Very interesting watch.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely a smear campaign.
Well, it's well done.
I mean, you don't become president without screwing. If you're
Somebody
a politician who becomes president, you fucked somebody somewhere.
And you don't shit where you eat, so you got to get out of that hometown.
Okay. Wow. Kenneth Starr was the lead investigator for the Vincent Foster suicide.
Mm-hmm.
That was apparently he shot himself June 20th, 1993.
Didn't he shoot himself twice?
Yes, he did.
Wonderful. That's totally believable.
Let's see.
Didn't do it right. Do it again.
Yeah. So that was this is right in the midst of the Clinton thing. Yeah, 2 bullets. Mike Riviero is really good about talking about it. That's what got him being a truther. I don't like the phrase conspiracy
or truther.
Yeah. How about this? I don't know. Reality.
Critical thinking. And it's sad that it's unfortunate because in normal social situations, critical thinking and honesty are already rooted out. You can't be too brash, or else you're not going to get laid, or you're not going to get a job, or you're not going to have friends.
Yeah.
So it's already socially built against you to be a critical thinker.
It's just weird. It's not because you have too much time on your hands when you're thinking. If you have this, I don't know, if you think twice about anything, you can develop some type of reality.
Oh, yeah, you can convince yourself anything. But I think the main thing with this is a lot of our friends are gamers. We're considered gamers. But I like to say it's a form of pattern recognition. And and I think people develop that over time, and you can see certain things that always end the same or always go the same direction. Sometimes things change up, but it is kind of coincidental in some cases that, like, for example, the woman who led the investigation in Flint, Michigan about lead poisoning.
Oh, yeah, and she's dead now.
They shot her. She was found dead, and her friend that was in the kitchen that day was shot dead.
Odd.
Yeah. So, and then rational people, most people anyway, not rational people, but most people will be like, well, you're just really painting that picture for yourself. There's no way. And the thing is once you understand that in human behavior, we're all conspiratorial in nature to get what we need, whether it's food or whatever, sex in particular. So once you go from there, from the micro and then into the macrocosm, you start to understand that, it's only inevitable for these kind of things to happen. And so Seth Rich, and also what this Bernie lawsuit really, I think, is tied into is Bernie was the center of the DNC investigation because he was trying to. A lot of people still believe to this day he had the nomination for Democratic president, and in order to keep him from not going public with any kind of information, you got to snip him in the balls. You got to slow him down.
Right. Plus, I don't think he would actually come out and say anything anyways.
Because he did.
He was already Hillary's lapdog.
Right, but there's still,
I'm sure there's still some beef there.
Oh, absolutely.
Because Clinton still lost.
Yeah. Oh, she's very upset.
She stepped over a lot of people just to lose.
Yeah.
And that's fucking huge, man.
Yeah, there's a lot of very upset people out there right now that Hillary didn't make it, and that's been the storm that's constantly coming and going since.
Oh yeah, Hillary's hit list, like the people that really, the big pundits on television that
didn't help her out.
Yeah, like Bill O'Reilly. I'm sure that Fox News shit was going to boil over at some point, but it's just convenient that now it's happening.
Yeah.
Who else also got?
Well, I'll tell you who's dead.
Who's dead?
Roger Ailes.
Oh, yeah.
He died the same day Chris Cornell supposedly choked himself out.
Yeah.
That was another interesting coincidence. Roger Ailes, of course, was being brought up on sexual harassment charges. He's the guy that is in charge, the CEO of Fox News, and he's dead.
Didn't Murdoch or somebody go?
Rupert Murdoch, I don't even know if he's still alive or not, but he owns a substantial amount of newspapers and news media. But Roger Ailes was the one of the bigger entities behind the scenes, and I think that's interesting, and that a Republican president comes in and all these Republican cheerleaders. But a lot of people have this theory too that most of Fox News is actually Democrats, and what they do is caricatures of the Republican Party to just kind of make them look gross. But that's a kind of a pipe dream, or.
Yeah. Wait, hold on. Yeah, Rupert Murdoch's still alive.
Okay, he's like 180.
Yeah, I know. Born 1931. Yeah, he's up there.
He's an old man.
Yeah, but he's a power player.
He's a power player indeed.
But yeah, I guess we'll kind of move on and take a small break here.
Oh boy, you guys are really a couple of spooksters, aren't you? Now, let's turn on the juice and see what shakes loose. It's showtime.
All right.
What's up?
A little Michael Keaton
action. Yeah, have you heard about the rumors of Beetlejuice 2? Have you heard about
I
that?
heard it wasn't a rumor. I heard it was already greenlit.
Confirmed.
And with Michael Keaton doing...
Dude, he's been on a fucking roll, man.
Doing as well as he has. It's a big deal, so there's going to be a lot put into this.
Yeah,
one,
especially, man. Was it, I guess 2 years in a row? He was in a Best Picture film, because it was Birdman. Then I think the next year the movie Spotlight won Best Picture. Then I think the only big movie he kind of did that came out was The Founder, which was documentary on
Ray
highly
Kroc.
recommended. By the way,
Yeah.
Also, seeing Nick Offerman in doing a serious role, I guess, is pretty cool.
And he's in the new Spider-Man reboot.
Yeah, I was about to bring that up. Yes. The 19th time?
Yeah,
I think
this might be the 23rd. Sony, I'm going to just go ahead and get on my high horse here.
Do it.
Are fucking up so much. And I think they will be able to recoup a little bit with the Spider-Man movie, but because they have militant management involved. And when you look into Sony, and of course you see the disaster that Ghostbusters 2016 was, and that's just the tip of the fucking iceberg.
But how many times they dropped the ball leading up to that?
Yeah, and now you'll read there's all these projects that got just gone. That were already midways. They already got a budget greenlit and everything done over because of new management. The new brass is like, we're not doing it this way. There's a lot, again, this is politics bleeding into Hollywood full force. So.
And it's, okay, I just read at Nintendo Life, Nintendo, the company, has reported like the high market share. Like their capital is actually right now at this point above Sony's. Uh-oh. And when you think about that, Sony, they make movies, but what keeps them, going afloat is the PlayStation 4 and
other consumer electronics.
Yeah, so on and so forth. And I thought that was interesting because they've lost a lot of fucking money in their movie division. I mean, this went straight down the shitter. Enough for Nintendo to take over because of the Switch being being a hit.
It's pretty interesting. I really think Sony's film division should just sell it. They should sell it off to somebody.
It's just a damn shame because Sony were responsible for some of my favorite movies.
I know.
I love the first two Sam Raimi Spider movies.
They're amazing.
Spider-Man movies.
Yep.
Ghostbusters 1 and 2.
Right.
That's Columbia too, right?
Yeah.
With them or something. I don't know. It's a damn shame. Yeah. Where were we going with this?
International box office versus domestic gross.
Yes.
Gross.
Yes.
And what it's important for people to understand is probably as we're speaking right now, theaters are disappearing, becoming just old warehouses now or whatever, and there's a pretty good reason for that, and a lot of it does have something to do with the piracy, but that's not really the issue. A lot of it has to do with quality. This is the problem that the music industry was never going to admit by putting these bands in these ridiculous contracts where they have to have an album at X amount of time between the last one, and then you get a bunch of garbage. But the problem here is now Hollywood is courting international and global audiences more so almost than American audiences, and they're doing that because they're competing head on with China's version of Disney, which is the Wanda Group.
So you will just go ahead and this.
A lot of people, this is another
let's go ahead
thing.
and talk about that before we get into the new numbers of the box office.
Okay, so the Wanda Group, according to Wikipedia, is a Chinese multinational conglomerate corporation and the world's biggest private property developer and owner. That's right off the bat. Okay, amongst their things that they do. And the world's largest cinema chain operator, owning Wanda Cinemas and the Hoyts Group, as well as majority share of AMC theaters.
Whoa, I did not know that.
Yeah, and wow. So in revenue, they generate anywhere from, I would say, dang, whoa.
What's that?
In 2014, it was $39.47 billion dollars in American dollars. And they're worth $86.15 billion in total assets as of 2014.
Shit.
These guys are not fucking around in the least bit. So the company operates in 4 major industries: commercial property, luxury hotels, culture, internet, finance, tourism, and department stores. These guys are huge.
So you're saying this is Disney's direct competition?
Exactly. In fact, the Wanda Group had, if anyone watches Dick Clark's Rockin' Eve, that's a Wanda Group production. They bought Dick Clark's likeness and everything. And that's their toes slightly dipped into domestic television. These guys, and of course, it became evident when they started putting these Asian characters in movies that seemed kind of out of place. Most notably, like Rogue One had the monk. Although the monk was kind of a cool concept on paper, executed it was really bad.
What do you think a ninja would do in Star Wars?
It's like, I mean, a 5-year-old probably could have walked into the board meeting and be like, what would make that really
Let's
awesome.
make him blind too, because that's a trope. That's something.
So dumb, but this is really directly who Hollywood is, and by Hollywood is another word for Disney, is got to deal with. Warner Brothers. I haven't seen Wonder Woman, but from what I understand, I think they finally got the formula.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes. Apparently, it's a good movie. It is doing gangbusters at the box office.
Right.
Which is good.
Yeah.
And it's the first critically acclaimed DC movie besides Batman.
Yeah.
I guess.
Suicide Squad could have easily been that, but if anyone who's watched it would tell you, I don't know which movie they wanted to happen, but it didn't happen.
It's one of those dartboard movies.
It's definitely a boardroom dartboard, crappy. Not the performances of Will Smith and what's her name, Margot.
Is that Harley Quinn?
Harley Quinn couldn't save it, and Jared Leto's Joker is almost too extreme for. I mean, it had room, but I don't think it functioned.
See,
the way
I
they
still
wanted
haven't seen the film. Is Jared Leto's Joker as like over the top as Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor?
No, I think Eisenberg's Luthor was horrendous. And because
I just kept thinking he's Mark Zuckerberg.
that movie,
he's like he's Facebook taking over Gotham or something.
I don't know who's responsible for the last revision on Batman versus Superman, but I personally thought it was fucking wow. There was the plot devices, and it has nothing to do with Affleck's Batman or nothing like that. That movie just suffered from juvenile, again, like a 5-year-old came into the board meeting. The parents' name is Martha. That's real cool. Maybe they can shake hands over that. No, dumb. Ruined the movie for me altogether. And Man of Steel was also a boring
I stopped watching.
Ride.
Yeah, I kind of stopped. Fell asleep. I was like, this is going nowhere.
Yeah.
I mean, Zack Snyder's wearing thin with me anyways.
But I think a lot of it has to do with, again, who has the final... Because Suicide Squad ended up being recut by someone else. And I think the director tweeted that he was sorry that wasn't the original vision. That's not my movie.
Yeah,
that's a bad sign.
See, that's what Disney does a lot. Man.
Yeah,
with that Miller guy and the other man that co-directed the Han Solo movie. Pretty much, the movie is done and in the can.
Yeah, and they're like, no, we don't want that.
Yeah, and then they're like, there's a lot of reshoots to do. Because that's Disney's style.
Disney's motive.
So yeah, Ron Howard steps in, and it's kind of weird to me because I still have faith in Ron Howard. He's made some good movies.
The last thing he did was the Beatles documentary, Hard Day's Night.
Yeah. So, and how can you step in now with someone's vision and still make the movie not a mess when it comes out to theaters?
It's going to be a mess regardless, because if you go through both of the last 2 Star Wars films with a fine-tooth comb, even though there were some things that were organized in A New Hope Part 2 or whatever, The Force Awakens, it just fell flat because the performances of the characters to me is what gets you involved. And again, I've said this thousands of times, and of course it's kind of controversial to some of my Star Wars friends, but George Lucas could have done those 2 movies easily with just a little bit of assistance.
Yeah, because
that's it.
When you see, I still haven't watched Rogue One, but see, I'm done after watching Force Awakens or whatever.
That movie was
but
boring.
watching Force Awakens is this like silly ass CG character check,
yeah,
convoluted plot check. You're just supposed to know these things. Don't explain it to the audience. Check. All of it has George Lucas thumbprints on it, man.
Yeah.
You know?
And
Same shit.
And sure, given me enough time, I might sound hypocritical or whatever, but I really felt like the producers had more to do with that movie than what the director's visions was. I think when you sign on to a Star Wars flick, you're getting the privilege of having your name associated with it.
Let's all repeat the mantra, it's only a movie. And if you think you're going to go into the movie and recapture your childhood, you're setting yourself up for disappointment.
That was Mark Hamill.
Of a much larger video about just him doing press junkets and just shit on Star Wars, pretty much.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I don't know if he has some good lawyers or what, but very rarely have I seen that happen. Of course, we all knew, and it's understood, that Harrison Ford just pretty much hates everything. So I didn't expect him to ever come out and be like, "Yeah, it's a strong script. It's really good." But what Mark Hamill, to summarize that video, is what he flags down is he's trying to understand why in the hell are you trying to make this continuation of the Skywalker thing, or at least try to put a cap on it when he's hardly in the movie, really, the way. So
yeah, he's like really excited about the script because he keeps mentioning Luke
like he's a mystery.
Yeah, then this never shows up.
Yeah,
to
so
the very end.
He did kind of spoil the next one too. They talked about 8, and the thing is I understand that they can't, even though they pretty much stole all the beats from A New Hope and put it in A Force Awakens, and Rogue One was more or less kind of like Red Tails, George Lucas war flick that had these just as one-dimensional as any prequel trilogy character in there, and I'm still yet to understand where the enthusiasm and people are like, well, no, it's worth it just to watch Darth Vader do his thing, and although it was cool, it was nowhere near what I thought it was going to be. We've seen Siths go off, and it kind of just makes an inconsistent link to A New Hope when you watch that. You're like, oh, what happened? Did he take his Geritol? Did he take some Sith weed to the dome or something? It's inconsistent and it's goofy. It's just as goofy as anything the prequels did. And that's my argument. I'm just saying that, like, I'm kind of glad that George Lucas had the balls enough to be like, fuck it, I'm done, take it. But when you have, like, Mark Hamill, who's a very respected guy, especially in the nerd community, for many of the things he does.
And you cannot have the new Star Wars without Luke Skywalker, so he can pretty much say whatever the fuck he wants.
Because they didn't want to go and be like, we are rebooting the mythos, because they know they'd be hung by their fucking toenails. But instead, they just kind of lightly, just dashed some of the old school stuff, and then you start to deconstruct it. What did you really see in the original trilogy, and what did you really see in the prequels? And once you get down to it, it's a product of its time. And what we got with the new Star Wars is, again, this politically charged nonsense. You have a very whiny Sith Lord in that movie.
Okay.
I just wish he would die.
I know. Yeah, Kylo Ren sucks.
Yeah.
That driver, guys, I don't know. He's an okay actor, I guess. But is this what you see is a product? A filmmaker did not make that film.
No.
It was very... Red Letter Media hit this in the head. It's like, Millennium Falcon... Yay! ATST! Whoa! It's just like, yeah, you can only see the same shit so many times
because they already used that before.
It's been played out, and it's not they're not films anymore. There's products.
They're products for children.
They're just as real as your little action figure of Darth Vader.
Exactly. And I think the Lego people can handle Star Wars better than Disney.
Oh God, yeah. Like, the Lego Batman film's awesome.
Yeah, I was very surprised with that movie.
It's a joke a minute. 90% of them land, and it's
like
great.
it's like it has all the Warner Brothers slapstick and writing that made the Looney Tunes so strong, and it toys with the nerds quite a bit with theories that we've had about Batman and Joker. But I'm not going to spoil too much of it, but it's good. I highly recommend. I would watch that before I would sink my teeth into Star Wars.
I guess the bottom line, you might agree with me, is this: Disney has not done anything good with the Star Wars property.
I don't think they have done anything good since the 90s.
Well, yeah, it's true, because Pixar has been carrying that.
Yeah, and Disney couldn't have it. And, of course, now Disney has it. But for the longest time, they couldn't compete.
No.
But I think Disney's creative juices have ceased. And I think
which is fine.
It's fine. It's all right. It's not for me. That's another thing too. I've understood.
If you don't like it, don't watch it.
And
I don't watch it.
But I have to get my Star Wars nerds friends to understand this, guys.
I'll still watch it with them, because you know what? The bottom line is, it's still just a fucking movie.
But even on that level of popcorn nonsense,
it's bad.
I slept. The Force goes to sleep.
Yeah, I remember. First time I watched it was with you.
Yeah,
we had the Blu-ray.
We were kind of excited
when it came out. Watched it. I was like, oh. Then Mom wanted to watch it, so I watched it with Mom. I thought maybe I was just in a mood.
Me too.
Then I watched it again with her, and I was still felt the same sleepy, half-assed, like Poe. That character Poe. I know it's like a gimmick of the Star Wars movies. Is like, everyone loves Boba Fett, but he's only got like 5 minutes of screen time.
Maybe he should just have 5 minutes of screen time.
I know. Poe, that character, I did like him briefly.
Yeah.
But that's it. No one else. Nobody.
I just think they need to leave a lot of this shit alone, guys. I really do. And as much as I like or love certain things, because here's what I think the line's going to be drawn. Already, Ghostbusters really just the definition of failure.
Yeah, they're going to do Back to the Future.
The Back to the Future is coming, man. It's not going to be pretty. And the thing is, you would think with all the mistakes that every reboot and continuation has made, they would pay attention to it, but they don't, because producers make films, not the filmmakers. Again, like I said earlier about having the privilege of having your name associated with the franchise is just an ego boost and it's a resume boost. And that's all that really is to it. Back to the Future is the next franchise that's going to get destroyed.
What is it? I guess it's Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back, where Gus Van Sant's filming Good Will Hunting 2.
Yeah,
Hunting he's just counting his money. He's like, let's shoot the shot.
Yeah, that's exactly
that's what it is.
and I'm not faulting people for that, but at the same time, guys, don't cheerlead it, because you're part of the problem.
Yes. Okay, let's get to the box office numbers for June 23rd through June 25th.
Okay.
I know I said I wasn't going to date this.
Let's go ahead.
But this is just box office numbers. Okay, at number 1, we have Transformers: The Last Night, $45.3 million.
The budget had to be like...
So, everyone, quote-unquote, hates Transformer movies, right?
Why do they keep going to them?
This is like number 7 or 6 or something?
And the last one we watched over at Daniels was so bad.
It was long. That's what made it bad. It was so long.
It was really bad.
Yeah, there's going to be another 8 of these. I mean, that made some bank. It made his budget. Well, probably didn't make his budget back, but still made some money.
No, his budget had to be in $120 million or something.
Okay,
like that.
Cars 3 at number 2.
A Pixar throwaway.
Yeah, 25 million. Apparently, it's a little better than the second one, but doesn't take much.
Right.
Wonder Woman still making some bank. 25. Actually, it says right here it made exactly the same amount of money as Cars 3 did.
Yeah.
Number 5, we have the Shark movie, 47 Meters Down. Apparently, it made $7.4 million, which is pretty good, I guess. And let's talk about this just briefly. But All Eyes on Me is number 5 with $5 million, with a total gross so far of I think 38. Apparently, the movie's god awful. Apparently, it's like a bad VH1, like maybe you know how they made.
I remember.
I'm not saying the Michael Jackson VH1 movie
was
that bad.
Remember the John Lennon, Paul McCartney one What If movie they did?
Yes, apparently it's kind of like that kind of quality.
No. Yeah.
But the dude does look just like Tupac.
Well, there's a lot of dudes that look like Tupac. That's what fueled the whole Tupac is still alive thing. Yeah, and that's kind of piggybacking off the success of Straight Outta Compton, which was phenomenal.
That's a really good film.
I was surprised with that one too. That's one of the better biopics I've seen in a while. Well, actually, the second one was The Founder.
Okay, at number 6, I don't know. Some people say it's the second. I say it's the third in the Dark Universe, Universal Monster business. The Mummy 2017 with
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise. The film is edited and made to be subtitled.
Back to the whole domestic or the international
market. That's what that movie's made for, and that's what's holding it up now. It's at $5 million. Let's go through these real fast. Number 7, Pirates of the Caribbean: Dead Men Tell No Tales.
Nothing's gonna keep that one going.
$5 million. I want to see the Captain Underpants movie.
Me too, because Dave Pilkey.
That's number 8, but number 7 is Rough Night. But Guardians of the Galaxy is number 9, Volume 2. Apparently, that's really good.
I really want to see that.
I did like the first one.
Me too.
Only seen it once, but that's all I need.
I had no qualms with that flick, as of now. I don't.
So I guess not too bad for weekend box office. I mean, there's a few bombs there.
This is supposed to be summer blockbuster season, right?
Yeah, we're getting close to July, man.
Yeah, I think Hollywood, again, that's why they had to stick that Mummy movie in there that could be easily subtitled, which makes for an awful screenplay. Tom Cruise is a pro. They couldn't do that with anyone else.
Tom Cruise, I love Tom Cruise, man. I don't give a shit.
He's a great actor.
I don't see all of his movies. Haven't seen most of his new ones, I guess. I do like the Mission Impossible movies that he did. Obviously, Eyes Wide Shut.
Jerry Maguire was good at the time, too.
Days of Thunder, that kind of stuff.
Oh, Eyes Wide Shut was by far probably one of the best roles Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman have had.
It was made for them.
It was perfect.
It just fit perfectly.
That's
right.
That's something you don't see anymore either, is a Stanley Kubrick. And, it's sad, really. So anyway, we yacked about movies enough, I guess. Again, China's involved. So now we recently got back into the NBA, and by recent, it was 2014 season.
Well,
we got into it.
I mean, I got hardcore into it.
Yeah.
I still followed it from 2010 through. But
right.
Because there was a dead period where, it was bad.
It was painfully bad.
Yeah, so these past couple seasons, I guess 3 seasons, 4, I guess, were pretty fucking interesting.
Yeah, because these players are, wow. They're pushing the envelope. And it's sad, really, because of what the politics and the corporate structure of the NBA has damaged their brand, if you ask me. I think it hurt it.
Just when I thought that Silver was on his way to being really cool, he's doing something real cool with the NBA product, it just goes back to the same shit.
Same old shit again.
Case in point, why in the fuck 3 years in a row that we have Cavs Warriors? After the second time, they split the difference or whatever.
Yeah.
One got a ring, the other one got a ring. Then
it's over.
Done.
It had to be a trilogy.
Yeah. Why?
And the third of every trilogy typically is horrible, and this one was bad.
Yeah, especially the super villains that are the Golden State Warriors. Because I'm sorry, I fucking hate them.
Yeah.
To me, they're like the definition of bandwagon fans.
They're the worst.
Like the Cowboy fans in the 90s.
Yeah.
Like I was one because I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Because I didn't really like watching football, but I knew who the Cowboys were, and I liked them.
Yeah.
That's what the Golden State Warriors are in this era of basketball.
And the NBA figured, well, we need that kind of mainstream appeal because we need the viewership. But what ended up happening, of course, we were trying to get the numbers on it, but it was a 15% to 25% ratings drop this season. A lot of it became obvious to me after watching a lot of regular season games and into the postseason. What's happening? You can tell when the teams are about to tank their season.
Yeah,
so
it's obvious because you know, they can still play the sport, but you can look at a person and their demeanor is
You
just
can
so
tell.
off.
Like, the Knicks thing was something a lot of people got very excited about. New York was very excited about
Hell,
that.
last summer, I was like, damn, the Knicks, the East might have another team.
Yeah.
You know?
And this is a big issue. If you're, there's a few fundamental reasons why the NBA isn't reaching out any. A lot of it has to do with these team owners who refuse, because, like, let's face it, I love Anthony Davis, but I'm not going to break the bank to get a fucking Pelicans jersey. A fucking bird in New Orleans.
A scavenger at that. You
Yeah.
know, they hang around trash sites and shit.
It makes more sense because obviously New Orleans had the Jazz back in the day.
Yeah, that made sense.
It would make more sense for me for Utah to have a fucking bird,
Yeah.
and then New Orleans takes the Jazz, but anyway, there's fundamental reasons why they don't make their money, and again, the NBA with the San Antonio Spurs recording the global gross,
Yes.
with international players, and the NBA's fundamental problems are obvious when you watch these games. Players all of a sudden they get a toenail ripped out and they're out for the rest of the season.
Yeah. What's the? Well, okay.
Netflix and chill.
Yeah, that thing. What was it? Blake Griffin's toe
Mm-hmm.
went out, and you know the Clippers. Basically, it seems like they were taking the series because whoever is going to play the Warriors were going to lose anyway.
They knew
so.
that.
Yeah, fake. You know, it's toe injury. Oh no. I'm not going to hate on Isaiah Thomas so much because his sister did die
That
when
was
the playoffs started.
weird to me.
But he got bumped on his hip, then he stopped playing.
I think
know.
he couldn't. I think there was too much stress.
I would say so. So I don't
And-
want to hate on that.
Yeah, and the thing is, in another fundamental issue that the NBA has to address with these team owners, they need to get the fucking together on this. They need to balance the conference. Both conferences need to be balanced. It shouldn't be right now. There's really 2 teams in the East versus 8 super teams in the West.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, really good teams.
Yeah. So
And
you know.
yeah. So it's the Cavs and Celtics.
Yeah.
Taking on the Thunder, Clippers, Spurs, Rockets.
Yeah. All these good teams.
But the California dominance in the NBA is so played out.
This is another Hollywood thing, man. And it is played out. In Texas and California alone, these 2 states might as well just be separate countries. And the reason why they always have to have a team from these states is it's easy money.
No, it's huge markets.
Huge fucking markets. And when they had the Rockets in San Antonio in the semifinals,
So, okay, let's go ahead and just say
like,
this.
wow.
Let's go ahead and say it. Yeah, the Rockets and the NBA is a business.
First and foremost.
Then it's a sport. And now, to me, a lot of people it's been way obvious, but it is sports entertainment. There are more people that walk up to me and tell me that the NBA is fake now than they do wrestling.
Exactly.
Because wrestling's openly fake.
Yeah, now it is. You would have to be. There has to be something wrong with you if you're of age and still think, oh, that's real. But yeah, the NBA is entertainment first because when you get into television contracts, when you get into all sorts of celebrities getting involved and getting their tickets and season passes and stuff, you get into a different level of stuff. So what, in short, when it comes to sports entertainment, what Vince McMahon has done over the last 30 plus years is exactly what what the NBA, what the Major League Baseball Association is going to, that's what they're going to end up being, is professional wrestling. And the reason why it happened to wrestling, and we lived through that and saw it, is because it's old as dirt itself. It goes way back.
Yeah.
So when you see a sport that's been around as long as it has, it's inevitable that it will become a spectacle first before it becomes an actual sport. The ratio changes.
What is it? Last year's World Series.
Oh, come on.
There was no reason the Indians should have been in the World Series, man.
Yeah. They did have a good pitching staff, but that was clearly something that was the gamblers. That's another thing that people don't want to talk about too much. Has a lot to do with both NBA and the Major League Baseball, it plays a huge role. There's a lot of money being thrown around to bet on these fucking games.
Yeah, and Chicago finally got their World Series.
Yeah.
And it's been how many years? 100-something years or something?
Might as well be a million.
It was a feel-good,
It was. We watched it.
It's kind of like the Cavaliers winning last year.
It was a feel-good thing for America.
Yeah, it just felt right.
But common sense, here's just common sense. LeBron, if it wasn't for LeBron being around, they wouldn't let Kyrie do it. But Cleveland, it's just not a big sports town other than that. And the Indians, they just can't carry it. And from a marketing point of view and from a business point of view, you don't want to court them as much. You want to court the big states because they have populations. And that the bigger the population, the bigger chances they're going to buy tickets.
Okay,
It's
in the
common
NBA,
sense.
okay. Fucking Kevin Durant pulled, I'm joining the team that's better.
Yeah.
And he gets a ring.
Yeah.
Doesn't feel so good.
Even though it was so strange to me that when he was out, how the commentators were like, the Warriors don't really need Kevin Durant on the floor with them.
Did they?
They didn't need him in the first place. What that was an expense. It was a impulse buy from, like a luxury car that sat on the bench. It looked nice in that uniform. And I got the impression by watching him play that it was not a team game when he was on. It was the Kevin Durant show, pure and simple.
If you got so many people in the court that can score, you're going to win games.
Yeah,
period. If there's like 4 people in your starting roster, the average 20 plus, I mean, you're going to be blowing out some motherfucking teams. You don't even have to play like a team. All you have to do is have somebody rebound and throw it back out. That's all you got to do. Shoot.
Fast breaks. And the thing is, too, Curry did not perform well at all this year, and he
2 years in a row.
He just and I get this overall sense too. They're like, we need to get somebody else because maybe he's unhappy and he might want to leave. And it's kind of weird for me to say, for some people
shooters
to
are
fathom.
streaky. That's the problem. That's the reason the whole run and gun philosophy doesn't go so far.
Yeah,
because Steve Curry ain't the first one to do it.
No, it's been around.
And Tony did it.
Yeah.
Before that was Nelson.
Yeah, and before that in college, what was that guy we watched 30 and 30?
The Guru of Go. Yeah, that guy.
And he did it in the WNBA. So, and it actually, what the Spurs teach you, in my eyes, they are the best basketball team, period.
Yes, methodical.
Because they're very methodical, and they play a two-way game consistently. And by two-way, of course, great offense and smart defense. That's what wins games. By all technicality, the Spurs could have continued the dynasty. But even Popovich, he's always a minimalist when it comes to words. If he was to get a few drinks in him, he'd be like, well,
we know.
We all know. Yeah.
What's going on.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, Popovich is probably the best basketball coach alive. Period.
And it's fitting for him to take over for the Olympics. When that happens, he's going to be the next Coach K. But I guess to conclude this, Vince McMahon is a lunatic, and he may be all these things, but he was a genius because what you see with the way he does things is what all sports are eventually going to become when they move on and when they evolve. So don't invest as much when you turn on an NBA game as you would when you, like, say, in the 90s or whatever. This is becoming a large entertainment venue or industry that needs the cash, and they'll do whatever it takes to make that money. And that's just the bottom line.
It makes sense. It's just it's safe.
Yeah,
it's very safe. Let's move on to some stuff I think we kind of know a little bit about too.
Okay.
I think it's music.
Oh yeah.
It has been kind of rough past couple years, as far as like you have to really dig deep to find some good new music.
And sometimes there's almost too much of it, and I think TV might actually end up suffering from this eventually.
Jesus.
But
there's so much good television.
There's a lot of good goddamn
I get
television.
sucked into it like Videodrome, man. I just stare at it for like 6 hours at a time.
Dude, TV is at a fucking renaissance period right now, and it's been going pretty steady. It's actually, when you look at it, it's been the most consistent medium Period, really, if you think about it. But with music, of course, we're musicians, and people know us from Escape the Rain and Pumpkin Bum and Summer Section Drowning and various projects and stuff. And, I've wrote about this before. I always try to just get a perspective on it. But right now, if you're into music, you have to love it. And don't, because there's no real security blanket as to doing what you would want to do with it. It takes more money to get started, and then you're right off the bat like going to college, or you're at a debt, and you got to keep putting money back into it, and it's overwhelming, because now you have to do all the marketing and you have to do all this stuff yourself, period, and it's overwhelming. It's way too much shit.
Yeah, especially, I don't know, we're just two people.
Yeah.
And also maintaining a creative output,
And it's easy to get burned out.
Like right now, it seems like we're taking a small break,
Yeah.
but still a lot of stuff coming out.
There's a bunch of stuff.
I've been exploring Thin Lizzy again, and that's what's been keeping my interest in music and digging back into the past to see more influences on my favorite bands.
Yeah.
As far as new stuff, Boomyverse by Big Boy is dope. But that's like saying the sky is blue. I mean, Big Boy doesn't have a bad album, man.
No. Of course, in just case people don't know, Big Boy, of course, from Outkast. And he just keeps evolving into it's like the Deftones. Deftones are a consistent band. Big Boy is a consistent rapper who keeps the game interesting, and like Eminem. But as far as monumental achievements, like Run the Jewels also is something. It's like,
oh
wow.
God, yeah, and they say
Wow.
some real shit too.
It's so fucking good,
I
man.
mean, they are woke motherfuckers.
They are woke.
I mean, also if you got fucking Zach De La Rocca showing
On
up in
your
your
shit.
albums, yeah, there's got to be some. You
You've
spitting
got
some
something to
real
it.
fire.
Because Zach De La Rocca will turn down all kinds of contracts. He doesn't do anything, And
yeah, they're solid. I mean, that's interesting music. It's interesting new music.
Right.
I'm just now getting into freaking Kendrick Lamar. He's I like his flow.
I
like
didn't
his
see him
voice.
coming.
I do something when Eminem invites you onto his album. You knew something was up.
You got something about you. Yeah.
Like the only one that didn't take off was that Skylar Grey chick that was on everybody's.
Wasn't she the
records.
former porn star?
Oh, I did not know that.
Or
Was
was
she?
that Sasha Grey?
No, this is Skylar Grey.
I had to do some. One of them's now a singer, but she was a former porn star.
Heck, she could be a porn star, man. I don't know.
It doesn't matter.
As far as like metal, just I guess quote unquote, not like independent metal music, but yeah, I guess Mastodon.
They keep doing it, man.
Emperor of the Sand was pretty good.
They keep doing it. It's an album about cancer, at least according to all the interviews with Troy and Brent, and all of them had dealt with cancer in the last 2 or 3 years, and they started writing about it. And heavy music, man, like I still think it hasn't gotten its due. And over the weekend, we was hanging out with some friends, and we noticed that there was this bubble of deathcore, which is, this is a problem with music journalism, and I've bitched about it before. I hate how many subgenre titles there is.
This makes you sound cool in front of your friends, but douchey to everybody else.
Well, because it's an invention of music journalism, I really think.
No,
because,
see, that's West Coast, Wisconsin cheese metal, man. But what?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
It's just there's heavy, and then there's progressive or whatever. I don't know. Like I used to use it just to give someone an idea of what they're getting into. I've now gotten to the point where it's like it's just good music, and that's all there really is to it, But attitudes towards music and musicians' attitudes have changed dramatically, because what's a humbling experience is trying to get out there and there's Sammy.
Yeah.
It's trying to get out there and be heard and make a little bit of money. But I'm telling you, man, this is a bad time to do that. It's really a bad time.
You got to be on a festival, man.
Like I said earlier, it takes a lot of money to get started. You got to have decent equipment. You got to have people. This is another thing too, man.
Yeah, everyone's married, has kids, and has a 90-hour-a-week job. They just can't.
You can't do it, man.
You can't get in. This is probably the age groups. That's Sammy. Sammy's getting all over
It's
me.
all or nothing now with music. You know, you have to, and that's part of the extremes that go on in American culture. You either work too much or you don't work at all. And with music, you have to be all in. You have to be completely dedicated, and you got to have 4 or more people, or at least 3 people together that can work on a schedule and get it done and be dedicated. And
and it's tough.
It's tough, especially for us when it's just 2 bands. And I've been using drum loops and drum machines and sequencing to record. And once you get too used to that, and someone asks you to come play live, you're like, well, we got to retool everything. We got to find people, and it is.
But
really
at least
tough.
they have something to go off.
Yeah.
It's kind of like how Bob Casey was.
Mm-hmm.
He followed a drum machine.
Yeah.
So this is basically just like
Yeah.
it's like a little glimpse of what
It's a
you
lot
could
of.
do.
It's almost, you have to love it. There's no
Let's
hobbyist.
No, it's not. I want to take a peep at the Billboard Hot 100.
Oh boy.
Okay, I might be pronouncing this wrong, but
Okay.
the song is Despacito? Despacio? I don't know. It's Louis Fonsi and Daddy Yankee featuring Justin Bieber.
Oh,
That is the hottest song right now. It's number 1.
so Bieber's doing it, huh?
Yes. Number 2, we got DJ Khalid. Can someone explain that guy to me? He's kind of like a pit bull character to me.
Well,
I don't know. Like,
one side of the media makes him look like an idiot, but yet that's just getting his name out there. And I haven't heard anything from him. DJs aren't really DJs. It's like another annoying thing is when people start saying, "Have you checked out my mixtape?" Can we just get rid of mixtape unless you're using a mixtape?
that's true. Yeah, but stop you saying that.
Yeah, because it's just, do you want to hear they can't say compilation CD, so they say mixtape. Just say mix CD.
There
it's
you
not
go.
a tape. Those days are over.
Yeah, but his song is "I'm the One." That's number 2. Number 3. Okay, I don't give a fuck, man. Bruno Mars's 24K Magic album is dope.
It's
I liked
fantastic,
it a lot.
man. And that's one of those rare occasions where the throwback,
Worked
it worked because he didn't do it.
Everybody
Yeah.
teased it, but
Yeah.
he did it so well and
yeah.
meticulous. I got it. I felt it. It's like, I get this.
And he managed to turn new audiences on to that, as opposed to, what the hell is this? It was so well done.
Yeah, it's like turn people on to like Bugs in the Attic and all these old R&B producers.
Yeah.
It's dope. That's what I like. It's number 3.
It's a dope ass song.
Yes, it is. Number 4, Ed Sheeran, "Shape of You."
Okay.
Okay. Number 5, "Humble" by Kendrick Lamar. That's been out for a while now.
He's doing well. If he keeps speaking his mind, though, you and I both know what's going to happen.
Oh yeah. Have you seen the DNA video?
Yeah, and that album's, that song is, whoa.
Yeah. Don Cheadle, Don Cheadle, Don Cheadle.
It's what turned me on to Kendrick Lamar.
Number 6 is "Mask Off" by Future. Don't know. Number 7 is something just like this by the Chainsmokers and Coldplay.
What?
Yeah. Oh.
See, this is another thing, Case, man. Maybe I'm not getting out enough, or I'm just, because of Muhlenberg County. Who the fuck is listening to this? Is it kids?
It might be.
Okay, because I'm not seeing this stuff.
Let me finish out this top 10. Number 8, "Stay" by Zed and Elisa Cara. Number 9 is "Congratulations," Post Malone featuring Quavo. Number 10 is "EXO Tour Lift 3" by
Is it a
Little
mix?
by Little Uzi Vert.
But yeah, this, maybe things are moving so fast I can't keep up with it. But a lot of this stuff just seems so goofy and foreign to me. Maybe because I'm not 13 years old or 14 years old. And I don't know, man. All I know is music as an industry that we saw growing up and stuff simply does not exist. And I don't know how much longer it's got before they just give up and stop covering it in mainstream media altogether. Radio's got to go first because
the radio format can just be so much better, dude.
if they just
let
it
make
happen.
it podcast like.
Yeah, seriously.
Jesus, you know,
It's not hard.
bring back radio personalities like I'm the Wolfman Orange.
Let
from
these
Drexel,
guys,
Kentucky,
yeah,
you
let
know.
these guys do their thing instead of getting emails every day that you have to play this X amount of times, and it's no fun. Once the fun and all this first and foremost is taken out of it, you can forget it. Like that's, might as well just not even have it.
Yeah, and it's I guess that's part of the problem. You can blame the internet for freely downloading any album you want for free. It's the most pirated thing possible, I guess. But I buy albums, okay? When I spend $20 on a fucking album, it better have something with it or some type of functionality other than putting it in my CD.
Exactly.
That's why records are so awesome.
Yeah, because it's
like buying a poster and an album
well, it's
at
for,
the same time. You know?
It's for music fans. Primarily, it's like that the dedication, and all this boils down, whether it's politics, whether it's the consumerism in our country, it's behavior that's changing, and maybe I am getting too old for this, but it just seems like it's changing for the worse, and we're a culture in decline. And when a culture's in decline or it's on its way to a change, you get to see a lot of disastrous results in the process.
Yeah, I guess whatever's old is going to be coming new again.
For a little while.
I mean, here's an article by The Verge saying the cassettes might be the new vinyl.
See, and this is good for us because we have experience with cassette tapes.
Oh yeah, like also editing with cassette tapes.
We've done
and,
it, yeah,
and fucking VHS tapes.
Yeah. So, anyone listening to this that would like an Escape the Rain release on audio cassette, yeah, let us know. Like we would gladly get on board with that and try to give you something.
Oh, damn. Here's an interesting number here. Oh, this beginning article says that, the resurgence of vinyl has been a centerpiece of the physical media story for years now. Okay. In 2016, cassette sales rose 74% to 129,000 units.
What?
That's a low amount when compared to vinyl's 13.1 million.
But it's still cassettes.
And the declining CD market still notched 105 million units. Whoa, that's kind of weird to me. That happens? Whoa. Yeah, similar to vinyl, a cassette sell bump represents a healthier appetite for physical goods. Which that makes sense.
Yeah, I think there's always going to be a market for tangible media, but at the same time, there's a bigger push towards just non-existent, just data. You're paying for data, whether it's video games, movies, and music. It's all just going to be hard drive space you're paying for.
Which, that makes sense.
I guess, it's going to happen, and there's nothing we can do about that. All I'm saying is the financial incentive for people to go out there and put these bands, artists, and groups out there isn't there. It's just not there yet. And again, it's gone, So this adjustment period, especially it's unfortunate for people like us who grew up towards the end of the analog days and the beginning of the digital days. This is rough because it's really, the financial incentive and what you get back from it is less and less and less every year. So
yeah, also the emotional investment. Yeah,
I mean, wow, it's tough. And there's times where like we was talking about this a while back, how sometimes we just want to give it up and just move on, but I can't, and I still want to do it, and I still think that Escape the Rain has a voice out there.
Oh yeah, definitely interesting story. It kind of lifers with it,
Yeah, we've been sticking with it for a long time, and
yeah, like I said, sometimes I look at the bass and I just want to fucking break it.
Yeah,
break it in half. It's like, fuck you, man. I don't like you. Then then you stick with it, and then kind of mend the relationship with it, and you just find new stuff to do.
But I guess what we're saying, and we're not trying to be just like desperate or whatever, but we need the help, you know. And I know social media is actually a graveyard for that. It's bad, but if anyone listening to this that really enjoys Escape the Rain, just give us a shout out. It's not like we need that constant pat on the back, or we can get it elsewhere. We need to know that it's good enough for us to keep going, and we need to know what works, because it wouldn't. I mean, imagine just going to work and everyone's just pretty much silent on your performance until, you know, you would want to know a performance review, you know.
Yeah.
You're doing a good job. But even though obviously we'll still do it for ourselves, but we're not trying to be that selfish. We really like to have more ears and eyes on the product, because it
seems like the music
you know,
right now is like the most accessible it's been. I mean, anybody can. They're titty bangers right now. It seems that's what we call them, is titty bangers.
Yeah, and we're not doing it just because to reach a wider audience. It'd be cool though, but
it's just the music that we're kind of into at the moment.
We want to try it. It's a challenge. It's new, and that's what I think keeps people interested in it altogether. And that's what got people interested in all your favorite bands and all these legends, is because they went outside the box and pushed it. So
yeah, it's like sort of reinventing the wheel every time.
Trying to. Not being afraid to try it out, so, you know.
Well, that's music for you.
Yeah.
We still make it.
We still make it. We're still going to make it. We're still going to post it.
Well,
and,
you know, not being cocky, but what other bands are still active from that era that we came up in?
I don't know. And it's all understandable as to why.
I'm just saying it's hard.
It's really difficult.
But it's cool at the same time.
It's worth it. So anyway, I guess this draws the 1220 podcast to a close.
Yeah, I think it does. This is a new format. We're still getting back into the groove of it. Hopefully you guys will just spread it around.
Like it, share it, and subscribe to the 1220 Productions YouTube channel.